What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It's your boy Adam Perez. I'm back once again with another movie review. This time, getting into the holiday spirit a little bit here. Listen, for those of you who don't know, Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I definitely love checking out Christmas movies every single season. And this holiday season, believe it or not, I have not really watched any Christmas movies as of yet. But I wanted to go ahead and kickstart my Christmas holiday with A Christmas Story Christmas. You can find this currently on HBO Max. This is actually the sequel to the 1980s classic, A Christmas Story. This particular movie actually takes place 33 years after the events of A Christmas Story. I believe A Christmas Story is set in 1940. A Christmas Story Christmas, with the return of Ralphie and his family, is in fact set, I think, in 1973. So 33 years have passed since the events of A Christmas Story, and we're back. And believe it or not, I felt like this movie actually was produced and filmed just right under my nose. I don't know if I just had a brain fart and forgot that we were actually getting ourselves a sequel to A Christmas Story. But to be honest with you guys, A Christmas Story is one of my favorite Christmas films to certainly watch every year. It's up there with It's a Wonderful Life. It's up there with Elf. It's up there with A Nightmare Before Christmas, Home Alone, The Santa Claus. I mean, so many great ones out there to certainly go ahead and check out. But when it comes to A Christmas Story, I was so pleased to hear that we were going to get ourselves a sequel, and not just a sequel, but the fact that they're bringing back the Ralph character and the actor himself. I believe his name is Peter Billingsley. I believe he actually had a quick cameo in the movie Elf a few years ago with Will Ferrell. And I don't really know exactly what Peter Billingsley has certainly been up to over these years, but the fact that they managed to go ahead and bring him back for the sequel to A Christmas Story was just absolutely perfect, if you ask me. I really enjoyed this movie. I truly did. I laughed more than I certainly thought that I would. I have such a warm place in my heart for A Christmas Story that the idea of a sequel is kind of nerve-wracking for somebody like me. Like, man, do we really want to touch that classic? Do we really want to go ahead and expand off of that classic? And I thought that they did a really, really great job of making this feel like a great Christmas movie, hitting all the Christmas notes, a great meaning, if you will. And I really love the idea of seeing things now from sort of Ralphie's perspective, as he is in fact now a parent, married himself also. And for a minute there, because I'm older now, I can easily fit myself sort of in his shoes and sort of that mentality that he has when it comes to Christmas and a Christmas spirit, and really wanting to give his family sort of that best holiday and best Christmas of all time sort of thing, right? So I do think, especially if you're a parent, if this is your first holiday with kids, or just if you experience parenthood, whatever the case may be, doesn't matter what Christmas it is, I do think that this is a great theme that A Christmas Story certainly focuses on, that I think a lot of us can certainly relate to. And what I also really enjoyed about this movie too was that it still really takes us back a little bit to A Christmas Story, in the sense that not only do our characters kind of revisit moments that they did in the previous one, but sort of like as adults, but some of the like techniques that they used even from a classic A Christmas Story movie, they brought over to this film to make it feel like this is still very much a Ralph story. And so when we get moments of like flashback sequences, right, or Peter Billingsley as Ralph, how in the original Christmas Story he would just go off into his own head and daydream, and he would just have this smile and just think of all these wonders and things that he would find himself, you know, situations he would place himself in these daydreams. I love that it kind of comes full circle, and we also see that even as an adult, he's got that imagination and certainly that mind that can definitely wander. So some of the skits, some of the things that they kind of put together in regards to what's going on in Ralphie's head certainly reminded me that of A Christmas Story. Sometimes it was a little bit goofy, but I appreciated the fact that they stuck true to who Ralphie certainly was, just now as a grown-up. And I think even as parents, right, like we still remember how to have fun. We still remember, times when we were certainly kids, and while we still try and hold on to a childlike mentality or childlike aspects to ourselves even as we get older. The same thing can certainly be said for Ralphie. So I really enjoyed it. It made me feel like I was watching the classic again, just with a modern twist. And I thought for the most part they handled things relatively well, even if it was kind of rehashing or like, oh, Ralphie found himself in this position and now his kids find himself in this position. Even though in some moments it certainly feels like rehashing, I thought they did such a great job in being able to make it feel fresh, new, modernized, but also from an adult Ralphie perspective. And so again, I thought they had some really great messages in here, and one that I probably will find myself watching this along with A Christmas Story on most Christmases certainly going forward. So if you guys have been hesitant about it, if you haven't been sure if it's something that you should tackle, my girlfriend never fully watched the original A Christmas Story. I think she's probably only seen clips and certain scenes. So while she certainly wasn't too familiar, even watching this movie, she recalls certain scenes, and she even kind of got a little bit of a laugh out of it as well. So emotional, funny, really Christmas themed, and a great sort of message, to certainly say the least. One I would certainly recommend for you guys for this Christmas holiday. So if you got HBO Max, certainly go ahead and check it out. Not sure how long it's going to be up there, but it really impressed me. If I had to go ahead and actually grade this, give you guys my report, I'm going to go ahead and give this a B+. I thought it was a really fun ride, and again, I found myself really laughing at just some of the craziness that goes on in this movie. If there was a downside, I will say this: while there is a lot of positive to it, the reason why it's not really necessarily getting an A, one big piece is the recasting of Ralphie's mother. Ralphie's mother was played in the past by Melinda Dillon, and I believe they recast her this time for the actress, I believe it's Julie Haggerty. Julie Haggerty is her name. And I really wasn't the biggest fan of how she portrayed Ralphie's mom. Or, his mom definitely comes across a little bit different, a little bit even loopier than I certainly expected her to. Melinda Dillon just had a certain softness about her at times, but then just like a craziness about her also, and I just really couldn't feel that with Julie Haggerty and her. Clearly she is playing the character 33 years later, so clearly she's gotten older, maybe a little bit more senile in the grand scheme of things. So she clearly is playing her a little bit different, but it certainly just wasn't the performance that I was certainly hoping to get. I couldn't really connect with her too much in a sense of really enjoying the chemistry. But again, that's just me. It just really kind of made me miss Melinda Dillon and how she portrayed Ralphie's mom in the past. So that's really my only downside to it. Other than that, I had a great time with this movie, and I certainly do think that you guys will also. So certainly check it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below after you certainly do. And do me a big favor, as always, guys. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.